Of all the auto brands on the road today, only one has been named the best auto brand for 6 straight years. That brand is Mazda. Come shop and save on the award-winning lineup of new Mazdas right now at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping that all is well with you and yours in your world. Since the last time we had the opportunity to spend a little time with you, roughly some 24 hours ago. We start today's show talking about some developments here in Louisiana. As you may well know, Governor John Bel Edwards this week signing into law House Bill 652, a bill sponsored by Representative Cedric Glover, reducing the penalties for the possession of small amounts of marijuana. It is something that for many people is welcomed, particularly as it pertains to overcrowding in our prison system here in Louisiana, but it also has left some people wondering if the legislature thought this all the way through. Governor John Bel Edwards yesterday releasing a statement after signing the bill into law that reads as follows, quote, I have signed HB 652, which, contrary to the narrative developed in the press and elsewhere, does not decriminalize possession of small amounts of marijuana, 14 grams or less. Instead, anyone convicted of this crime will now be subject to a maximum penalty of $100 instead of being exposed to parish prison time. This is not a decision I took lightly. In addition to carefully reviewing this bill, I also believe deeply that the state of Louisiana should no longer incarcerate people for minor legal infractions, especially those that are legal in many states and can ruin lives and destroy families, as well as cost taxpayers greatly. This measure passed Louisiana's legislature with bipartisan support following a robust discussion of the toll of over-incarceration of our people and our state. Taking this action is another step forward for Louisiana's criminal justice reform efforts. End of quote. Here's the question that I have. If penalties are reduced for individuals caught with recreational amounts of marijuana, maximum penalty of a $100 fine, regardless of the number of times they've been caught with this infraction, did not anyone in the legislature during the course of this debate in the House and the Senate, did not anyone take the time to delve into what adjustments, if any, are going to be made to the laws regarding the individuals who sell a person recreational amounts of marijuana? Here's what I mean. Two individuals, wherever, one sells, the other buys. The person who buys is now subject only to a maximum penalty of $100. It is no jail time involved, and according to the governor, a, quote, minor offense. So the person who engaged in the actual selling of this illegal substance, if they are arrested, threatened with more than a $100 fine and or jail time, are we not setting ourselves up for lawsuits out the wazoo? You follow me? I will be the first to admit, I am not an attorney. But the legal ramifications of this, taken in totality for all involved, leaves me wondering, if you reduce the penalties down to misdemeanor status for those who are engaging in the recreational use of marijuana, what does that then bode for those engaged in the selling of the amount? It's hard for me to fathom that this bill went through a committee, then to the full House for consideration, back to committee, then to the Senate for full consideration, voted on by both bodies, sent to the governor, and no one thought, well, you know, if we're going to do this on the buyer's end, what adjustments need to be made on the selling end? You don't have to be an Einstein. You don't have to be the brightest bulb in the chandelier to figure out this has got to come into play at some part as this all unfolds. Personally, I think it is the ultimate example of politics at play. It gives individuals now who are a part of the process the ability to tell their constituents, depending on which end they happen to be on, the buying or the selling, that I looked out for you. You see, I was a part of the body that voted to no longer let there be jail time and just a $100 fine. On the other hand, those that are against the measure, it then gives the politicians the opportunity to say, well, I stood up for you. I didn't decriminalize it. It is Yet another instance where politicians do what politicians do. And at the end of the day, it still leaves a massive amount of consideration to fix the problem. I don't know where all of this is going to end up, but it's discouraging that this collective body, allegedly, supposedly, some of the best and the brightest we have in our state, and this is the end result of all of this research, discussion, debate, and this is what they end up with, only to have to come back later on in another session that, by the way, you get the privilege of paying for, to have to revisit the issue all over again. I mean, I can see right now 2 individuals caught by police in this exchange. One will get maximum $100 fine, no jail time. The other, the seller, facing a different set of penalties. The lawsuits are going to be lining up left and right. And it's something that could have very easily been taken care of right out of the gate. Again, I have no idea where all of this will end up, but my gut tells me that we have in no way, shape, or form heard the last of this just yet. Speaking of Louisiana news and Governor John Bel Edwards, he has announced this week that he is expecting to end the federal portion, additional federal portion of unemployment benefits before the expiration date in September. During a news conference, the governor says he's been debating for months whether or not August is a good time to cut off the additional federal unemployment benefits instituted in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, saying, quote, "The jobs are coming back in Louisiana pretty quickly and at a good pace." Just to give you guys and girls the heads up, if you are anticipating that additional $300 from the feds lasting all the way through the period that the federal government has advocated, you might want to start thinking again. Start putting that money on the side, folks, because if all goes according to what Governor John Bel Edwards has indicated he is leaning toward, it's going to come to an end here in Louisiana before the federal government's deadline. Govern yourselves accordingly, and when all is said and done, at least you will be able to say that you knew about it ahead of time. We're coming up on our first break of today's show. There is, and y'all know your boy Clarence, y'all know your buddy Clarence, I'm big on adages. Well, there's one that says there's more than one way to skin a cat. Some folks will tell you it says there's always more than one way to skin a cat. Well, some folks are of the opinion that the cat at the border, our southern border with Mexico, Kamala Harris may be getting ready to take on that cat to try to skin him in the near future. Not from any actions of her own, but from the actions of someone else. That's up next as we continue the Clarence Bugg Show here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Team Honda wants to thank you for once again making us Louisiana's #1 new car dealer by offering you never-before-seen savings. For the first time ever, get 0% financing up to 60 months on some of your favorite Honda models. Get thousands in savings right now at Team Honda on Siegen Lane.
Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. If you were with us as we headed to the last break, I teased this segment as being characterized, for lack of a better phrase, by the old adage, there's always more than one way to skin a cat. You have, I'm sure by now, heard the criticism, condemnation, consternation about the lack of a visit to our southern border with Mexico by Vice President Kamala Harris. Many people are of the opinion that in order to get an accurate picture of what's happening, you need to be there. And, of course, the Vice President, despite making a visit to the border when Donald Trump was president to condemn the conditions there, has so far not seen fit to set foot at the border. I would imagine that's probably going to change in the near future. The reason is, it was announced yesterday that former President Donald Trump has accepted an invitation from Texas Governor Greg Abbott to come and make an official visit to the border. You heard me right. In a release yesterday, quote, The Biden administration, and this is the former president speaking, the Biden administration inherited from me the strongest, safest, and most secure border in U.S. history. And in mere weeks, they turned it into the single worst border crisis in U.S. history. End of quote. He noted the current administration has not made the southern border an urgent priority. End of quote. And they've gone now from detain and remove to catch and release. Quote, we went from having border security that was the envy of the world to a lawless border that is now pitied around the world. Biden and Harris have handed control of our border over to cartels, criminals, and coyotes, drug dealers, MS-13 gang members, human smugglers, sex traffickers, and the criminal elements of the world now have free rein. Hospitals and schools are getting crushed, and public health is being sacrificed, all in service of a radical left anti-borders agenda. Our brave border agents and courageous ICE officers have been illegally stopped from doing their jobs. Our nation is now one giant sanctuary city where even dangerous criminals are being cut loose and set free inside the U.S. interior on a daily basis. Now, for those that may be quick to say, well, Clarence, you got to understand that's just politics. You just said that politicians are who they are and they do what they do. And, you know, he's been dropping hints here and there that he may run again in the next cycle. Well, I will grant you that. I mean, you know, after all, you would be right. Politicians are who they are and they do what they do. But what's really, really telling about all of this is that all of a sudden now, Democrats find themselves in panic mode. Just when you thought they were of the opinion, if we simply ignore it enough, it'll be as though it's not happening. I mean, after all, we were told before, you know, that it's not a crisis, it's a situation. It's a challenge. Despite what folks living there will tell you, despite what folks who are impacted by it will tell you. Enter into the equation Representative Henry Cuellar, Democrat congressman from Texas, whose district, by the way, encompasses 300 miles of our southern border with Texas. Representative Cuellar now is pleading with Vice President Kamala Harris to visit the border. Sent her a letter saying, quote, I write to invite you to the U.S. southern border to observe the ongoing, watch the wording, humanitarian crisis and share the perspective of Americans who live there. I encourage you to join me and other members of Congress while we visit with the people on the ground who deal with these issues every day. Leaders of our local border communities, including our mayors, police chiefs, sheriffs, emergency personnel, landowners, and judges, understand the dynamics fueling the, watch the wording, immigration crisis. His letter continues, Quote, I have lived here my entire life and want to offer myself as a resource in solving these problems. I believe it is critical that you meet with local stakeholders and residents, consider their concerns, and use their life experiences to implement more effective policies. The rapid rise in the number of migrants arriving at our southern border burdens severely our communities. As the U.S. emerges from the COVID-19 pandemic, South Texans continue to struggle economically due to outdated commercial travel restrictions. The situation on the border will only worsen as more immigrants are expected to arrive. The administration needs to take a proactive approach to create a sustainable system of humanitarian aid and relieve everyday Americans of that responsibility. When Democrat members of Congress use this wording for the Vice President of the United States, it lets you know all of a sudden now they are viewing this seriously as well. Now, let me be the first to say, I get it. I get it wholeheartedly. Had not Governor Greg Abbott extended an invitation to, and had not former President Donald Trump accepted the invitation to tour the border, in all likelihood, this Texas representative would have been quiet as a church mouse. But when there is political hay to be made by the other side, all of a sudden now the Democrats are concerned. Funny how that works. Of course, now, if you are an elected representative of the American people, and in this particular instance, your citizenry in Texas, shouldn't you have been concerned about this before now? And what is so ironic here, after all is said and done, these are American constituents we're talking about. American resources we're talking about. Education, health care, all of the things paid for by American taxpayers. But until an invitation was extended to a high-profile guy from the other side of the aisle, they weren't all that concerned. Kind of makes you wonder if the party that claims to be for the people is actually what they say they are. Listen, y'all, at the end of the day, America was, is, and hopefully always will be a nation of immigrants. The inscription on Lady Liberty pretty much says it all. But America, at the same time, was, is, and some say it might be open to conjecture at this point, a nation of laws. We welcome those who want to come here, but there's a process and there's a legality involved. Now, all of a sudden, some Democrats are concerned. Imagine that. Maybe what we need to do now is have Donald Trump start showing up in some of these Democrat-run cities where all the violence is going unchecked and all the people that look like me are being murdered by the thousands, and maybe, just maybe, Democrats might be concerned about that too. Just a thought. Bottom of the hour break. We'll get her done. Come back and talk more with you, right where we've got it, on the Clarence Buggs Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Buggs Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Buggs Show. Something that I neglected to mention to you guys and girls at the start of the show. And quite frankly, I am amazed at the fact that we are just entertaining the first one for this time of the year. The Baton Rouge and New Orleans metro areas are under an air quality alert today. It has been issued for today, Wednesday, as it is expected that light winds will reduce pollutant dispersion and continued warm temperatures, triple-digit heat indices, and sunny skies will enhance ozone formation. Therefore, air quality levels will be unhealthy for sensitive groups in the Baton Rouge area. By now, I'm sure you probably already know the drill. We've had more than our fair share of problems with ozone in the capital city and the capital region. So you know by now that if at all possible, limit the amount of driving that you do on a day like today. And of course, if you are fueling your vehicle, or as the case may be, refueling your vehicle, you are asked to do it either very early in the day or very late in the day. I think it was last Thursday, after finishing the show, had an errand to run in North Baton Rouge. So I jump on I-12, get to the 10-12 split, and what should have been, I don't know, a 5-minute drive from the 10-12 split to Government Street, downtown Baton Rouge, what should have been a 5-minute drive turned into a 45-minute exercise in frustration. Something, and I never did find out exactly what it was, something happened on 10 westbound on the Port Allen side around 415, causing 10 to be shut down. And of course, at that point, every freaking thing just ground to a halt. And as I'm sitting there, inching along and stopping, inching along, stopping, inching along, stopping, I noticed, among other things, first and foremost, I wonder how adversely this is affecting the health of all the people in this region. I mean, obviously, people sitting on the interstate have the luxury, the privilege, if you will, of sitting there sucking up diesel fumes, ozone, and all sorts of pollution. But then it also occurred to me, looking at the number of 18-wheelers that were literally back to back to back for miles on end, the amount of commerce that was strangled that day is abhorrent. The amount of gas and diesel wasted, the amount of man hours wasted, and the amount of commerce strangled because of one incident on our roadways. Guys, girls, it's 2021, y'all. We're supposed to be better than this. I don't know what it's going to take for us to fix this problem in the capital city, but it is long past time for it. It's, let me say for the record, in this latest legislative session, there was an attempt, I call it hijacking, others call it redirecting, the remaining 0.45% of the 1 penny sales tax to use for road and bridge construction and repair. I, for one, I'm a little torn on this. There is the conservative in me that says not just no, hell no, because you lied to me. You told me, and y'all remember this, oh, we're going to run over the fiscal cliff. We're going to shut down this and that. We're not going to be able to help the children. We're not going to be able to help the poor. If we don't get this extra penny, the state is just going to go off the fiscal cliff. So we said, okay, it's that bad, huh? And they said, oh yeah, it's that bad. Then they told us, but here's the rub. We only need this extra penny in sales tax for 2 years, and we'll give it back to you. By then, we'll be back on sound financial footing, and you can have your penny back. So, you know, being the Louisiana-loving people that we are, we said, okay, we don't want to go off the fiscal cliff. We don't want the children to suffer. We certainly don't want the senior citizens to suffer. So, all right, we'll give you the extra penny. So, lo and behold, before the 2 years rolls around, they come back to us with the same old tired, well, you see what had happened was we didn't quite figure this thing out right. So we can't give you your penny back. We can give you half of it. Who was it, Marty? Kings of Comedy. Cedric the Entertainer. Cedric the Entertainer. If you ever watch Kings of Comedy, there's a portion in there where he talks about black people putting something down on it. So I can't pay the whole bill. I can put something on it. So the legislature tells us, we can't give you the whole penny back. We'll give you 55% of it. The remaining 45%, we're not going to give it back to you. And by the way, we're going to hold on to it for another 7 years. So we kind of grumbled. And we're like, oh man, we've been bamboozled again. They got us again. Knew I shouldn't have gone along with this, but that's where we are now. Now we find out they want to make it permanent. Now, let me say for the record, as I am sitting on I-10 last Thursday, sucking diesel fumes, breathing ozone, cussing like a sailor, because it's taken me 45 freaking minutes to do what should be a 5-minute drive, I'm starting to reconsider a little bit. But then I said, no, there's a process. I don't mind paying for the things I need. And God knows we need some alternative ways to get around the capital city. There's not a single person watching right now, Democrat, Republican, black, white, gay, straight, Catholic, Baptist, agnostic, whatever. There's not a single person watching right now that says, oh man, nothing wrong with Baton Rouge traffic. We all know it's a major problem. But at the end of the day, if I'm paying for it, I want to have some say-so in the matter, legislature. If I'm paying for it, if you're using my money to pay for it, I want to have some say-so in it, legislature. And I don't appreciate you taking my money, lying to me, telling me when I'm going to get it back, keeping half of it, and then not just keeping half of it, but making it permanent. Now, that being said, again, we all understand traffic here is horrific. And I don't think there's a single person watching right now that doesn't mind paying for what we need. But for God's sake, y'all, stop lying to me, telling me you're going to use the money for this, and then you turn around with that same old tired, well, you see what had happened was, we're sick of that, y'all. We are freaking sick of it. Be honest with me. Tell me the reality of the matter. We're all grown folk. We'll deal with it and we'll make it work. It took me 45 freaking minutes to drive what should have taken 5. Now, I'm not totally selfish in all of this. It's not so much about the inconvenience as it is the health effects. Here it is again with an ozone alert. Now just imagine this, if you will. An air quality alert day. You're begging people not to drive. If you got to go to the gas station, do it early in the morning or late in the evening. Just imagine one idiot on the cell phone today, on the bridge, causes a wreck, and here we are, this same old exercise in futility all over again on an ozone alert day. It's 2021, y'all. We are supposed to be better than this. Of course, now, whether we actually are or not might just be a different show for a different day. Final break of today's show. When we come back, more proof positive, some folks just don't get it. That's next on the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
We're making 2021 the year of savings, and it starts right now at Team Toyota. Come get a new 21 Corolla for just $189 a month, or get a 20 Camry for just $19,995. It's a year full of savings starting right now, right here at Team Toyota.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You know, if you are blessed to stick around long enough, you find out that our parents were a lot smarter than we gave them credit for being when we were young. At 18, I was like most 18-year-olds, thinking, man, my parents don't know squat. They try to tell me this, tell me that. They don't know what they think. They don't know what they're talking about. Old-fashioned, yeah. But the older I get, the more I realize, and the more thankful I am to God above for blessing me with the parents that I had. Many of us, boomers, and the greatest generation as well, have heard the adage, some folks just don't get it. Now, in most instances, that's okay. The problem comes in when the folks that, quote, don't get it are in positions of power. For example, Lori Lightfoot, mayor of the city of Chicago, continues to not get it when it comes to gun violence in her city. Following the most recent incident, and of course, you know, in the city of Chicago, they are killing folks up there like you get prizes for it. 8 people shot inside a residence Tuesday. 4 of them fatally, the other 4 wounded. That's in the middle of the week, y'all. 43 people shot in the city of Chicago last weekend. The weekend before that, 55 people shot. Just on the weekend. Not for the week. Just Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So following this latest incident, the mayor, Lori Lightfoot, holds a press conference calling for more federal gun control. Quote, "What we will likely learn as the details become clearer is that illegal guns continue to plague us. Gun violence continues to have a deep and painful history in our city. Unfortunately, Chicago is not unique. We are part of a club of cities for which no one wants to belong. Cities with mass shootings." She went on to say, "Cities individually cannot tackle this problem. We just cannot. In Chicago, we've done absolutely everything possible, and we need help from the federal government." You might remember, just over a year ago, in the midst of this explosion of homicides in Chicago, then President Donald Trump offered federal help to Lori Lightfoot and the city of Chicago and was turned down. Now, all of a sudden, she needs federal help. But here's the rub out of all of this. And you know what it was, right? You already know what it was. She didn't want help at that juncture because it was being offered by Donald Trump. Okay? We all know what that was about. But here's the rub. For 30 plus years now, Chicago has had the strictest gun laws in the entire nation. And the murder rate continues unabated. But instead of dealing with the nature of the criminals in your city, you think it's a good idea for the federal government to step in and withhold guns from law-abiding citizens. Of course, now, that's how liberals think. I mean, after all, Lori Lightfoot is the same person that said, you know, the media in this city, they're just racist. It's overwhelmingly white. So what was her solution to fixing a racist problem? She decides, well, I'm only going to give interviews to black and brown reporters. So let me get this straight. You are going to fix a problem of racism by being more racist. Really? Now you see what the old folk meant when they say some folk just don't get it. Blood runs in the streets. A president says, I see y'all got a problem there. Can I give you some help? No, we don't need no help. But now, if you ask her, she's only concerned about the welfare of the people in her city. If you were that concerned, you would have been asking for, and more important, you would have been accepting help long before now. And you wouldn't give a you-know-what about what party the help came from. But that's what happens when you care more about your party than you do about the country. That's what happens when you care more about supporting the party than you do the people that elected you. And then you have the unmitigated gall to wonder why we've coined the phrase, you were elected to serve, not appointed to rule. But we did start this off by saying some folks just don't get it. Now, the sad part is, apparently, some folk just don't get it, that applies not just to Lori Lightfoot, but for the voters of Chicago. Lest we forget, the folks in Chicago have voted Democrat ad nauseum. Democrats have run that city for God knows, for decade after decade after decade. And where is Chicago now? Simple question, show of hands. How many of y'all would move your family to Chicago? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I can see through the TV, not a single hand went up. All of y'all said, well, Clarence, see what had happened was, oh no. That in and of itself tells you everything you need to know. How many times have you heard me say, if the people lead, the leaders will follow? At some point, Chicago, at some point, Detroit, at some point, Oakland, at some point, Portland, at some point, Minneapolis, at some point, Atlanta, at some point, New York. Do I need to go on? You know where this is going, right? At some point, you've got to step back and take a look at what has happened, particularly when you vote for one particular party. Take all the platitudes out of the equation, y'all. Take all the promises out of the equation and look at the reality of the moment. Of course, now, there's an old saying, speaking of old adages, in one of my favorite songs, Harry Connick Jr., in the song One More Time, says, and I quote, "Keeping your eyes closed is worse than being blind. A blind man will look at you with his eyes wide open, but there's a defect somewhere in the optical system. Cornea, lens, whatever, nerves, something is broken. So even though the eyes are open, he can't see. But now, if you walk around like this, that's worse than being blind, because all your dumb behind has to do is open your eyes and see things for what they are. And yet, I am not a betting man. Y'all know that. But I'll take odds that after all of this in Chicago, Lori Lightfoot has a better than average chance of being re-elected. Now, you tell me what that's supposed to say to the rest of us. Just saying. Today, as every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I give it to you. This day, maybe more so than any other. You know what? You're right. America, we're not perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Best news you gonna get all day, son. There ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care of yourselves. Let's take care of each other. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless.